Welcome to another episode of Sounds Nerdy. Quickly in this episode, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the Nintendo Direct, Splatoon, Nintendo partnering with Universal Studios. Quick thing about Activision Blizzard earning call, Oculus Rift. We'll get into more of that after the break. Welcome. Like I said, I'm be your host tonight, Darweshi Cobbs. I'm back from the dead. Took a little vacation, so I'm back. I'm glad to see you guys again. Thank you for joining in and again. With me as usual, you know who I got with me. Usual cast of characters. We got with me Jamocha Cobbs, Charles Pinkney. Make sure you follow us at Sounds Nerdy. You can follow me at WeshyCY2. Follow Jamocha at
SN Jamocha.
You can follow Charles at
Pinkney Char.
Thank you. Real quick, I want to thank everybody who participated in the Amiibo contest giveaway. Thank you guys for the support. Keep it up. Doing good work out there. We love you guys. Like I said, we're going to announce some winners in an upcoming podcast. Not sure exactly when, but just stay tuned. Keep sure you take a look at us on our Twitter feeds, and we'll let you know when it's coming out. We're going to have more giveaways coming up in the future. Just to let you guys know. So just stick around. Stay tuned. All right, let's do it. Let's get into Nintendo Direct Splatoon. They just had a Nintendo Direct the other day, and I almost liking what I see when I watched this Splatoon. It's a very interesting, very colorful. It's a Nintendo twist on a shooter, which makes it interesting to me.
I have to say that I am actually going into, or actually when I first heard about the game, I was a little worried that Nintendo was doing a shooter. But after this Direct, it seems that they've taken their time to add a lot of depth to it.
They did. They made this game.
It's not just a cookie cutter, simple game. There's a lot of depth to it, which really is intriguing.
Yeah, Nintendo they took on a shooter and they made a Nintendo. You could definitely tell it's got a Nintendo vibe. You won't see any blood and gore and stuff like that. But the way they did this Direct and showed the detail, the in depth, the customization in this game when it comes out, you can tell they took their time with it and they polished it off well.
Yeah, I like it. I didn't really have any interest in it before this Nintendo Direct. I think this Nintendo Direct sold me on it. Mm-hmm. And I think these Nintendo Directs have been a great idea on Nintendo's part. Everybody was up in arms about them when they first started.
They're good when they don't have Iwata's doing them. It's nothing against you. It's just that sometimes the language barrier is hard to understand what you're saying. And this one here was, it was kind of cheesy, the guy talking in the background, but
I love the English guy, though.
But it put a Nintendo spin on how they wanted to portray this game to come across people to get a chance to look at it and watch it the Direct. You definitely couldn't tell it was like a Nintendo Direct. It just looked like it was a advertisement for the game and saying, play this game, look at all the fun stuff you can do in this game. It looks interesting. I like the fact that you have to use the two forms of the I forget the name of these characters again. The
squids.
The squids, the Inklings and the squids. Yeah, I think that's very unique how they're going to be able to, switch between the two forms and how you're going to maneuver. I like the different modes that they have in there, like the team deathmatch, to take on a team deathmatch, which is pretty sweet. I like that. It look pretty cool.
I like how they're going to be rolling out content over time too.
Yes.
So it starts off with 5 maps,
exactly.
And then over time they roll out more and more features and more weapons and costumes, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's cool, and I like that the fact that the costumes that you get in your gear, it changes, your specs of your characters, so that you can respect. Again, basically, you can respect every time you go to a different level.
Right, that's the depth that I was talking about that they actually put into this game, which is really intriguing. So I think that's an excellent twist by Nintendo. They really paid attention to other shooters out there and make sure that we just can't make this a cookie cutter or a simple one. We have to add that depth to it, and I believe from what we've seen so far, they've hit on that and very well done.
And it's a Nintendo game, so it's gonna be fun.
It's made by the EAD, so they've that core group
house that brings you some really good games. It's just gonna be. I'm interested to see now. They had the beta coming up this week.
No, it started yesterday and today.
This week, and that's it. Yep. And you get to play with the developers of the game, and you get to see, get the feel for how the games work. But I like the fact that they're embracing DLC in this game and future updates now with these hard drive stuff that they didn't have before. So they can put the game out, give you some of the play right now, and then you got complaints, or you can participate in their service that they're having. You can, change it around, give you more stuff in it.
Did they say this was free? this content that's rolling out over time, it's free, right? You don't have to pay for this.
They didn't say anything.
I'm going to go and assume that they're going to make you pay for it, just like every other DLC.
I don't know. It didn't say anything about pricing, so
I'd be curious.
I like the world. Like, what is it, like a global community events that take place every so often?
Splatfest or something like that. Splatfest. Yeah, that's really unique.
Smash Brothers had it. Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Smash Brothers has something like it.
So again, it's a Nintendo thing. It's really unique.
But it is unique. It's fun. It's a fun idea. It gets people engaged in this game. But I'd be curious to see if they're going to make people pay for the maps.
It's just, that's just the way the video games work now. Is you got to pay for maps. It's just.
Did they make you pay for the Nintendo Mario Kart
DLC? Yes, you have to pay. It's like $1.99 for the characters, like
the characters alone.
Not the
maps, right?
I'm not sure of the maps, but I know they made you pay for when you got the. Who did they just add?
Link was it? Link was one of the first characters they just added.
I'm not talking about the 250cc upgrade, not that one.
Oh, okay.
Not that one.
I know
but they made you pay for like $1.99. Or no, I'm thinking of Smash Brothers, where they made you pay for
Mewtwo.
Yeah.
The reason I'm curious about this is because the landscape changes in multiplayer games when you add maps that people have to pay for. So if say for instance your friend has a map that you didn't have, that you don't have, and you guys just can't play together, that's why I'm curious to see.
They make you pay for them on Call of Duty.
I don't know. There's companies that haven't made you pay for them. Like
every map pack from Call of Duty made you pay for.
Oh yeah, Call of Duty. Yeah, Call of Duty.
I'm just saying,
Activision. They make you pay for them.
And it seems to work well for them. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they make you pay for it, so everybody else see that is making Activision hand over fist. They're gonna do it.
I think Nintendo has a good track record of handling DLC a little bit better than I've ever seen in any other company, though. So that's why it's just hopeful thinking that they don't make you pay for it. At least the maps. Everything else is fine. I don't care about the downloadable costumes. I'm all for having people pay for it, but I hope that they give.
Yeah, I see if you give you maps for free, but all the different power-up weapons and costumes and guns and stuff like that. Yeah. Also, the unique thing I want to talk about is how the weapons work in there. There's 3 forms to each weapon.
So there's 3 types of weapons, or 3 weapon types. You got your sub, your main, then your special weapon.
Oh, okay.
And then each of those have different weapons up under them. So it seems like they were rolling off the different weapons that they had. What was it, at least a dozen or so different weapons?
I like you could tell what. Like they took like the typical like how an MMO is set up where you have a tank and you got you guys who do like the damage from the DPS from afar. So the guy with the big paint roller, like the big guy with the paint roller, he's coming in to change the landscape, and everybody comes behind him shooting and killing like that. So you can see some strategy that they worked into it. So like you got the guy with the big heavy paint roller, he's doing a big wash of damage while the people behind him are shooting every other character.
Target.
Yeah, so that he's painting the room. Because when you get to that death match and whoever controls the most paint color wins the map. I think that's a cool idea that they're doing.
Yeah. One thing I'm really curious about is the maps. Except right now they have 5 maps, but I wonder how each map is going to play. Is there going to be different strategy for each map? They kind of look the same, but I wonder if it will shape up like that. If it will actually be different from map to map. That would be interesting to see.
This kind of hit on that point a little bit. Like say, like one map is like all the action is going to take place in the middle. Right. The other thing is going to be range where you got to get to the top of a tower, and then you like basically king of the hill, and you're going to run around where everybody's trying to shoot you, but you're the top, so you got the high point.
But the way designers intended and the way users use it,
it's always like that. It's always that with like when you play Call of Duty, like. It's intended to be one way, but people always figure out where the bloodbath's always going to be on the map, and so everybody runs to the same spot every time, and that's all that. So you like this map wasn't supposed to be played this way, but this is just how people play it all the time.
I think that's one of the major reasons they did the test play. Like this is the first time I've ever seen Nintendo actually do some sort of beta.
I've never seen.
I think this is why they did.
Are they changing their stripes? Nintendo's what I want to know.
I hope so.
Are they already embracing the new digital age of betas?
I think they realize
DLC
they have to
coming into the forefront. Getting more mature with the things like that. Only thing I don't like is no voice chat in the game. But how many of us ever actually use voice chat when we playing
Well, there's people who do.
Who strategize.
I don't personally.
Yeah, I mute everybody first.
When I play with my friends, I do all the time. Yeah. Like, I use it all the time when I play with my friends. I don't necessarily talk to strangers that often. Unless
but I think if you add voice chat, it makes the game more strategic. So then we're going to say, it helps, when you want to do these team battles, that to have some kind of voice chat in it. I don't know if there's going to be some kind of workaround that people are going to come up with.
Cell phones.
Besides just cell phone. Like the days when there was Ventrilo and TeamSpeak, on the computer. Yeah. So I wonder if they're going to do some type of thing like that to make, to help people coordinate their attacks when you're done.
I doubt it. It's Nintendo.
I don't know. Somebody probably come up with some kind of way, or left the community tell them outrage and like this game needs some voice chat in it because it's hard to coordinate our attacks with nobody not being able to talk to each other. So that's just one thing didn't really sit well with me is that they eliminated voice chat or never thought about putting it in it. We don't know.
Right.
They probably did. I think they just opted not to for some
reason. I don't know. For server constraints. We don't know. They don't know what their networking handles. Something more likely it's technical than anything else. Than just an omission by the staff.
Yeah,
I think it's more probably technical end on their servers. Also, Nintendo news this week. Nintendo's partnering with Universal Parks and Resorts.
Right. Yeah. So Nintendo's partnering with Universal Studios to bring some kind of attractions to these places. They haven't said anything specifically as far as what type of rides or when they're going to come. But I'm going to be curious. One thing I would love to see, you have to make a Mario Kart. You have to make a Mario Kart attraction, and you got to have the shells and everything.
Now, how would that work?
Give me a star too.
They'll make it work.
Like, how do you make that would sound interesting. You go and get in the go-kart, you got the Mario shaped one, the Peach shaped one,
right?
Toad shaped one, and then you get in there. It would be cool if you can drive around the track and you actually get these little, probably going to be like Nerf balls or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just my wish.
That would be a good idea.
It would be.
We're just giving you ideas out there if you want to. Right. Take them and run with it, but it's just kind of interesting like that. And then it's obviously going to be somewhere where you go down pipes. You know what I'm saying? They're going to put the pipe sound in somewhere.
Some kind of Mario thing. Yeah, you jump in, hit the coins or whatever. So it's going to be. I'm just waiting to see what it's going to.
It's interesting. Nintendo partner with Universal Studios.
So again, another partnership with Nintendo. This one's not a game specific, but it's still another reach outside. Yeah,
they're changing their branding. Going on, rebranding themselves.
Right, which is good.
Getting into different things, like stepping outside their comfort zone, using somebody else who knows what they're doing, and partnering up with them. One other thing Nintendo should do is just come on and make a Pokemon MMO. Why don't you hand it over to Blizzard? Work with Blizzard, have them develop it. And just take everybody's money, and you'll print billions for the rest of your life.
Yeah, MMO would no doubt make money
with all the Pokemon games they got now: Red, Blue, Green, Silver, Emerald, Alpha Ruby, Omega Sapphire, Diamond, Crystal. You got enough content. You can have people hunting for years and never find all the damn Pokemon if you just put one out there.
Right.
Take people's money, let us all have it, because. Hand over the development to another company. Let Blizzard or BioWare make it for you with your hand over it, and just tell you this game will sell oodles and oodles and oodles of money.
Right.
And it would be a killer. I tell you this.
I've never been to Universal Parks, but I think this might get me to go.
I've been to Universal Parks. This was years ago when I was younger, but now. It was cool. There's nice little themes, attractions, but Universal is always the more interactive. Of theme park than say Disney where we just go sit on the ride and you just did it. Like they had the one thing where you shot the alien and it blew up, but the water hit you in the face and he breathed on the back of your neck as a tap on your shoulder. I mean, that's just cool little neat things like they do at Universal Studios. So I wonder how they're going to make it work with a Nintendo based theme park.
I can't wait to see.
They probably gonna have you do the original Donkey Kong where you got a clown and the donkey's sitting up there, a big shack up there throwing.
I really hope they do some retro stuff. I doubt it because of just this generation. I don't know how many kids this generation would know about what Donkey Kong looked like 20 years ago, or however long he came out ago.
Yeah.
They'll probably stick with.
I don't know. You never know.
Mario. I mean, we'll see. Well,
it's interesting to see what they can do, but that's something to keep an eye out on a lookout for. Also, they said they're going to be developing 5 mobile games. The partnership they had with DNA, this to coming to fruition. Now they're gonna have 5 games between now and 2017. So that's something to also keep a lookout for Nintendo out there as they're starting to shed their image of being not willing to work with other developers and stuff like that. So this is something we should take a look at. Keep an eye out, see what kind of games, what type of IPs they're gonna bring out there. If they said they're not gonna just water down their old games, we want to see how they're going to make them work with, mobile games.
Right. Did they say any details about the 5 games? Or
no, I think that one of them's coming out fall, maybe, this year. But we've got a sneak peek at, there's a couple of DS games. One of them a matchmaking game, and I can't think of the name of it. But there's some games that resemble mobile games on the DS, like heavily resemble mobile games on the DS. So they've been experimenting with it, and
the DS is a mobile platform. So
your mobile like iOS or Android, they resemble those type of games. So we'll see. Yeah, I'll be interested. I hope that they're just not matchmaking games or anything like that. I hope they have some depth. To them.
I mean, knowing Nintendo, they're going to make some depth happen. They don't make just garbage.
Yeah,
if they're putting their name behind it, they're going to make some type of game. Once again, you guys are listening to Sounds Nerdy. Real quick, let's talk about Activision Blizzard earning calls they just had this week.
Right, they had an earnings call this week, and one of the interesting tidbits that came out of that was they said they had total of 50 million players. So they had 30 million players playing Hearthstone, the card-based game.
Mm-hmm. I played it for a little bit. I mean, it wasn't my big thing. I mean, I played it for like 2 weeks, and after a while, I started playing some of these guys who were just kicking my butt. So yeah, and,
I've never played it. I've seen it play. I don't know if I will get into it. It's just not my cup of tea.
It's one of those things that you gotta make it past the training in the game, and then it gets addicting. Collecting the cards and then getting better and better and better. I haven't really played on. I don't have an online presence in that game. I'm still playing the single player campaign to get better at the game, and then I'll go online. But it's a decent game. It's a really good game.
And so it said it had 30 million people playing that game online, and it said it had 50 million total. So I left 20 million for Destiny. 20 million people playing Destiny. To me, that's a surprising number, because I know so many people who had the game who have just fell off and just quit the game. But
the biggest problem with Destiny was once you get the end game content, it was cool that they match made you all the way up till you got the end game, and then if you didn't have a strong, friend present who play online all the time, you were stuck. So you run around like any MMO with nothing to do, and with it only being platform specific and not cross platform, it made it hard to find a match to get into, or a good strong, guild to be in. But so you got to the end game and there was nothing to do. So I got to the end game and I leveled up really quickly, and I was into the point where I started doing the deadly strikes, and there was nobody to do it because nobody was playing. And so I would just sit there, I would spam all day long, and nobody would pick up. Right. So it got to the point where I didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, I never made it to the end game. I gave up on it before that because it got kind of boring, and the game did not live up to the hype. I think Activision's ambitions was like this, but they only were able to deliver this much of the game. So
yeah, you could definitely tell that there was some work needed to be done, and it looked like there needed to be more detail put into the game.
Yeah, story aside, the story was terrible.
Well, I don't
even know what the story was about. I thought it was a story, but I don't even know.
There was supposed to be a more in-depth story, from what I understand. Previously, if I remember correctly, the writer of that game left like toward the end of it.
The thing of it is just like to level up your character, there was just the task got tedious. There was no diversity in the task. You go shoot, pillage, find, scavenge, boom, repeat. Yep. It was,
I mean, people seem to like it though.
Apparently, 20 million people are still playing the game. What? And they're playing on an average of 3 hours per day.
That's one damn strike, session. Basically. Right. What it is a strike. It's a strike taking that long. Yeah,
for them to stick around and play for that long.
Quit during the strike. Strikes.
Yeah.
So they started off with 16 million players in February, which means they grew a total of 4 million.
Because they just had a DLC come out. Yep. So that probably brings some people back into the fold to see what.
I'm glad it's doing well. I'll be curious to see what Destiny 2
is going to be like.
I will be very curious about Destiny 2.
The only thing I'm asking for is just to make it cross-platform. So
I don't know if that's going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
It's not
I know it's not going to happen. I mean, that's a wish list.
Yeah.
Like to get cross-platform play. So, you can build a game that way. Then you build I think more companies need to embrace cross-platform play.
That would mean that Sony and Microsoft would have to work together to make it happen. That's not going to happen.
Well, at least cross-platform.
Enemies.
At least cross-platform with Xbox and Windows.
They're working on that now.
Yeah.
I mean, they have certain games that does it, but they need to, at least because the community on the computer knows about, we got to work together to get it done. Mm-hmm. And consoles has more always been single player. I'm out about my own self. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that came out interesting out of the earnings call this week. Oculus Rift they're announcing that it's going to come out 2016.
Right, yeah. No specific date yet or any price, but you can start pre-ordering it in late 2015. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no specific date. So it's going to be interesting with the Oculus Rift, the pricing on that. Yeah. My guess, and it's just a guess, I have no inside knowledge or anything. My guess is that it's going to hit at $400, maybe $500. I don't think that's a sweet spot for it, for the technology to take off. I think it has to hit $300 to hit a sweet spot.
I think it'd be $349 as a release, just because that's just the way they do it. I think a sweet spot for something like that is $200.
I think they have to hit $3. It can't. 400 is too much. $299 is what I'm going to guess it's going to be, and that's only because they got Facebook. I think them having Facebook behind them is going to allow them to sell it for a much more competitive price, because they do have competition out there. They have HTC, the Samsung and those devices require you have a phone. But I guess they are still in the same market. So Samsung, and then they got Sony.
Right.
So they have to be competitive with those devices. So I'm going to say $299.
I think $349 is what's going to release that, but the sweet spot should be $199. That would be the mass appeal market right there. $200. People say I can try $200 and just to see.
$200 would be great.
I think they're going to come out at $350. I just think that's what it's going to be at.
I say $350.
I don't even know if we're ready for VR games or stuff like that. I mean, hopefully it's not Virtual Boy all over again with the red and black and the headache waiting to happen.
How old? What was Virtual Boy? 15 years ago, maybe 20.
That was 25
20 years ago or so. So jeez. I think now it's the next iteration.
But are we ready for it though?
Yeah, I would say yeah. This landscape needs to shift. I think we're ready for a shift. I don't want to say that it needs to. I think it's ready for a shift. It's just going to take, some revolutionary product to do it.
We need something, I think, as VR to help us to become more immersed in the gameplay world. And I think having virtual reality where you're actually looking around, I think that can help. I think games right now are as immersive as they can get. I play some games.
Actually, Nintendo did kind of do something like that with the gamepad with the Wii U, where you can use to look around in the world environment like that, and it's going to work with Splatoon as we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. With Splatoon, where you can look around and using your gamepad to change the landscape of what you're seeing in your vantage point. I think it's something like that would have to work, but I think we have to go along with like a console base instead of a computer base, and it's got to be some of like the popular titles to make it work. So you might have to try it with like a Call of Duty or something like that to actually make it take off and work. Because I don't know, I'm kind of skeptical on 3D technology and this virtual reality technology. It just doesn't seem like they haven't made it right, and it's just not taking off.
3D technology. Well, 3D technology it never captured me. Mm-hmm. I still have yet to try. Everybody that says they tried the Oculus or Morpheus, I think that's what they're still calling it, Morpheus, says that it works very well and it looks very good.
I've seen the one mock-up the guy had with using the original Zelda and the Oculus Rift World, where the old top-down where he's walking through, and he shot the little thing. It looks cool and stuff. They got to work on something how you keep so you can get your bearings straight with the horizon and stuff like that, so you won't get sick and you get your orientation right. Because moving around like this with no orientation, no horizon, you're gonna get sick and you're gonna get motion sickness and puke.
Right.
But yeah, I think that I want to try it to see how it is. I think this could this is logically the next step that game.
Well, it's always been trying to. We've been trying to get into VR and 3D world for 30, 40 years. It just, we watch.
I think
movies.
technology now is going to allow us to
do it right.
And do it right.
Because it's been TV and console for what? How long that's been?
But now you made this game play singular again. Now now you're taking it back from multiplayer aspect to singular. Now I'm going to watch this by myself with this glass on my head. Nobody going to.
You can still do multiplayer and.
It's going to be online only, but you're not going to have the couch co-op as they call it.
No. That's been dying. That's a dying dinosaur.
Well, it is a dying dinosaur. Yeah. Every co-op is now done, online anyway. But sometimes friends want to come over. I don't know why.
Nintendo's the only company still doing it.
Couch co-op.
There are a few.
But yeah. So just keep a lookout for the Oculus Rift in 2016. We'll keep you up to date as more pricing come out, the data availability and stuff like that. Once again, we want to thank you guys for watching us on Sounds Nerdy. Remember to like us follow us, just keep in touch with us. Like I say, stay tuned because we got some more exciting giveaways to come away. Of all the shows we've ever done, this is our most recent.
Peace out.